have a question and answer. We have microphones. If anybody wants to ask any questions, we'll go through that, and then people will be available afterwards for one-on-ones. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Coley Campbell from the NHL.
Thank you, Mike. I've been coming to Buffalo for years as a National Hockey League player, National Hockey League coach, and now in my job with the National Hockey League hockey operations. And I almost consider Buffalo as one of the original 6 teams with its hockey history in the state of New York and in southern Ontario, and how much hockey has been involved in this area. And so we're pleased today, and thank you very much for the turnout, Mayor Brown and everyone this hot summer, well, at least a sunny summer day here in this cloudy, rainy summer we've had, to show up here and appear for this announcement. We've been working on this announcement for a couple of years. Ted Black and myself had a conversation at least 2 years ago now regarding bringing our combine to Buffalo, our NHL Scouting Combine, and I had a discussion with our Director of Scouting, Danny Marr, and it just seemed like a natural fit with what Terry and Kim Pagula are doing now with this location. It's certainly opening up the eyes of people in the National Hockey League, and I think it's a natural fit to bring our National Hockey League Combine here. When I discussed this with my boss, Gary Bettman, he said, you better open it up to all 30 National Hockey League teams, which we did, and we had a lot of interest from a number of organizations to host the National Hockey League Combine, but Ted and his group have been working on this for, as I said, close to 24 months now, and they certainly had a head start, and a few remained in the run at the end, but still Buffalo was heads and toes above everyone else in being able to host the Combine. And so we're pleased to bring our Combine here. And the history of the Combine for a young player who is hoping to play in the National Hockey League has been enhanced over the years. So it's probably the pinnacle of their career, their amateur career, in getting ready to be drafted by one of the 30 National Hockey League teams. So this will certainly be a place of memory for stars of the future who are hoping to launch an NHL career with the National Hockey League Combine, which is held every June right before the National Hockey League Finals. So I'd like to bring on Ted Black to also talk about our Combine. Ted?
Thanks, Coley. Appreciate you being here too. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being with us here at First Niagara Center and Harbor Center, and another beautiful day in Buffalo, New York. Also want to welcome our fans that are watching on Sabres.com on our live stream. I want to begin by thanking some of the folks that really made this announcement possible. Of course, Colin Campbell, Dan Marr, seated in the front row here, the Director of Central Scouting, Jody LeMayo, you'll hear from in a moment, CEO of Kaleida Health, Mayor Brown, who's been side by side with us as we try and partner on a number of different things to make Buffalo a better place. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, who couldn't be here, but when he's not running Erie County, he's an avid youth hockey coach, and Mark submitted a very heartfelt and emotional letter to the NHL on our behalf, and we certainly appreciate his efforts. John Kommel, you'll hear from after myself, President of Harbor Center, who shares our excitement for Buffalo and the opening of Harbor Center, which is now just a few weeks away. Stan Mikowski, seated in the front row here, our VP of Arena Operations, Jennifer Van Rysdom, also in the front row. The rest of our staff, as Coley said, we've spent a couple years working on this project, refining our bid and working closely with Central Scouting to match what we're going to be able to provide in these two buildings with their needs. And those months of preparation were not in vain, because this event now is upon us. It's in May, and we're ready to hit the ground running just to make sure that this is a premier event for all 30 teams in the league. I also want to thank Terry and Kim Pagula for their vision and for their passion for hockey and their passion for the city of Buffalo. You know, when Terry and Kim and I came here 3 years ago, we wanted to transform Buffalo into a premier hockey destination. But we also wanted to transform the perception and the image of Buffalo. We set a goal to make Buffalo at every level hockey heaven. Back then, the notion of luring an event like the NHL Combine to Buffalo, quite frankly, seemed far-fetched. Today, however, Buffalo is one of the hottest cities in America. The city, the county, and the region are headed in the right direction. Just look around. To my left over here, there are acres of green grass. 3 years ago, there were broken bottles, gravel, and discarded machine parts. On the other side of Scott Street, what was once an abandoned building is now a shiny new hotel and office. On the lower side of the former Memorial Auditorium site, there'll soon be a unique public park that celebrates Buffalo's rich transportation history. And last but not least, across from where we're gathered right now, one of the wonders of the hockey world is nearing completion. 2 years ago, it was an asphalt parking lot. The Pagula family has invested hundreds of millions of dollars into making Buffalo a better place. If Terry was here, he'd say, we're investing with our hearts. Buffalo and the Pagulas were made for each other. The city, our political leadership, our business leaders like Kim and Terry are big dreamers, and they're bigger doers. Before our eyes, Buffalo is writing a great American comeback story. All over Buffalo, what was once thought to be impossible is now happening. And so we sit here today knowing that this is the place where events like the NHL Combine should be. It's a no-brainer. Hosting the Combine in a one-of-a-kind 3-rink campus will allow the league the maximum flexibility to grow this property as it sees fit. The league, its teams, executives, the prospects will all benefit from the NHL Combine being located in a vibrant downtown location. And this is a unique location. We're just a mile from Buffalo's medical campus and a world-class hospital like Kaleida Health. So for the first time in the Combine's history, medical screening will be able to be performed off-site at a first-class medical facility. And in fact, I'm also proud to announce that Kaleida Health will be the official medical provider for the 2015 NHL Combine at Buffalo. This is a significant enhancement over prior combines because it allows Central Scouting the flexibility to perform any additional diagnostics that it deems necessary by the physicians. Jody LeMayo, I want to thank you for jumping over the board to support this bid immediately. Like our city, the Sabre franchise is also poised for a very bright future. Every day I tell our staff, prepare for greatness as we continue our plan to rebuild this team into a championship franchise. Buffalo was going to be hosting this combine at a very unique time in our team history. The Sabres have 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks in the 2015 draft. These yet-to-be-drafted Buffalo Sabres will join a prospect pool that's already recognized as being among the best in the NHL. Like the city, our franchise is headed in the right direction. In fact, we're no longer rebuilding. With the work that Tim Murray's been doing and the rest of our team, we're just plain building right now. And even though this process is a very challenging one, we are blessed with remarkable fans. Their support for our plan and their passion has not waned. For the 6th straight year, we will have a season ticket fan base in excess of 15,000 people. With the NHL Combine now included in the growing roster of premier events coming to Buffalo, the city is cementing itself as a global presence in the hockey world. We want every NHL player to have first trained or played in Buffalo, New York. And as more and more players make their way to Buffalo, the image and perception of the city and the franchise will continue to change for the better. And we're not done yet. We are honored that the NHL has once again looked to Buffalo to help launch a new concept and a new property. The Combine will benefit from the combined use of First Niagara Center, Harbor Center, making this the first 3-rink campus in the NHL. And to talk a little bit more about Harbor Center and the Harbor Center amenities and elements, I'd like to turn it over now to John Commel and ask that John come up and share his thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ted. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. And more importantly, Coley, Dan, welcome back. And thank you very, very much for the confidence and support that you're showing in all of us with the decision you've made to bring the Combine to Buffalo, First Niagara Center, and Harbor Center. On behalf of the entire Harbor Center team, express not only our appreciation, but our excitement. It further validates, as you've heard from me before, what we're doing, and as Ted just recapped, what Terry and Kim's perspective, passion, and energy is all about. And with this coming on the heels of the recently exciting announcements relative to the Women's Under-18 Worlds and Sled World Championships, it makes our opening, which is now only 2 short months away, all the more impactful. As Ted's recapped, this has been a tremendous team effort. Touch on that a little bit later. And I want to add my personal thanks to Jody LeMayo and Mayor Brown, the Kaleida team, all of those involved in the city, as well as Mark Polenkars in the county for their support and partnership. Jody and Byron, consider them good friends, and they certainly share my passion, our passion for the success of Buffalo and Western New York. So this is all the more of an enjoyable opportunity to work with them, and be assured our bid wouldn't have been successful without their very active participation in the event. Will be all the more powerful because of the collaboration. As for Harbor Center, will be home base for the Combine. The rinks and supporting venues will be used to stage many of the activities. Most of the activities, that said, be assured, as Ted just referenced, we function and will function as a fully integrated venue with First Niagara Center, so we create one seamless experience for all of the participants. Frankly, we're going to work just as hard with our partners in the district and the city to maximize the benefits of the event, whether that be the hotels, and in particular with our good friends, and I'll call them partners at the Courtyard across Scott Street, in particular in 2015, the restaurants in the area. Be assured this is a collective district and city endeavor and event. What's our objective? To ensure that all players, all visitors, all team reps, all media, spectators, and more walk away dazzled with their experience at Harbor Center, Canal Side, and Buffalo in general. As with every event we host, our commitment is to create a first-class experience with every touch point, ensure the whole of that experience is greater than the sum of the parts. And we're now all the more excited to work with the league to help you take your event to that next level. Each time I have the opportunity to speak with you, further acknowledge it's amazing how far we've come in such a short period of time. Obviously, the building across the street continues to rise. As you can see the pace at which the team is working. Be assured what you can't see on the inside, the pace is even greater. As Ted and Coley alluded, it was 15 short months ago when I joined Ted and Gibby and a few others, made my way up to Toronto to observe the Combine, May of 2013, before I was officially on the job. Frankly, then couldn't have fathomed how advanced we would, how far we have come and how advanced we would be as we all sit here today, not only specific to the Combine, but the project in general. The interest, the excitement, the buzz is just phenomenal. Give you a real quick drive-by, take advantage of standing here. Obviously, already mentioned 2 World Championships. We're coming off 4 days working with the NHL in a referee development camp. Kevin Adams in the Academy, they've run multiple camps and clinics and are working as we speak with collegiate and professional players to better prepare them for the upcoming season. Each of our resident partners, Canisius, the Junior Sabres, ECC, they're in full swing in terms of prepping and preparing for the start of their season. Our 20 new tournaments, we've got full fields, upwards of 200 teams, hundreds and thousands of players and families that will be visiting us. Our youth development program, 18 organizations, more than 4,000 players and their coaches will touch Harbor Center this coming year. Other high school teams and leagues will be playing and practicing with us. The adult leagues, we had over 100 applications for 32 spots. Impact Sports Performance, Jason Jerome and his crew sitting out front here. They're working with athletes and teams around the area, and now the Combine. And all of that, we've still got 2 months to go before we open our doors. As I said, the demand, the excitement has been phenomenal. But that's our commitment. Always talk about destination, development, and impact. Today's announcement is further evidence that we're really making it happen. We continually walk the talk, providing real value and real benefit for all involved, whether that be tangible, intangible, image, reputation, economically. And be assured we wake up every day committed to creating that rising tide that lifts all boats for Canal Side, Buffalo, and Western New York in particular. So Coley, Dan, thank you again for giving us the opportunity to partner with you. Be assured all of us at Harbor Center are excited to take it to the next level and make you in the league that much more proud. With that, I'm now pleased, half with my Harbor Center hat on, half with my Kaleida board chair hat on, to introduce the CEO of the Kaleida Health System, a man who's done great things for Western New York. He's doing some really great things within the Kaleida organization, and one said we're excited to partner with for the benefit of this particular endeavor and event. Jody LeMayo.
Thank you, John. Thank you all for being here today. I come at this with multiple hats and a couple of different fronts. As a Buffalonian, let me say on behalf of all Buffalonians, to Coley and all of the NHL, thank you. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for supporting us. This is what we as Buffalonians have all waited for, these types of moments. And we have plenty of them coming up, and you've heard from Ted and John. I also want to thank Ted and the Buffalo Sabres for their confidence in Kaleida Health. And when I say thank you to the Buffalo Sabres and to Ted and to the mayor and to John, I thank you on behalf of the 10,000 employees at Kaleida Health who believe that Western New York and Buffalo in particular is on a path to a better tomorrow. You've heard the NHL Combine represents the future of the NHL. And as the prospects and the next wave of players come in, there's no better place for the future of hockey than Buffalo, New York. And as you see the Harbor Center, and you see the commitment that the Pegula family has made to Western New York, it's here, it's today. So we talk a lot about Renaissance, and I'm always talking about the Renaissance of Buffalo. We're no longer hoping for a Renaissance, we're no longer wishing for a Renaissance. Today further validates we're living the Renaissance. And again, thank you to all involved. As we host this major event at the Harbor Center, it is just another step in the evolution of Buffalo, New York. It's another step in collaboration, and the proof that collaboration will move the needle, will move us forward as a community. Great things are happening all across Western New York. You've heard and seen some of those things being detailed today. We at Kaleida Health are proud to partner with the Buffalo Sabres and the NHL as we go into this Combine and look forward to years to come to do this. We're happy to be a small part of it, happy to bring our talents, our specialists, our great community of physicians, nurses, employees, and staff members to this great event. We stand ready to do any and all testing, from the most mundane to the most specific to the most difficult, right here in Western New York in our great Gates Vascular Institute, really right down the street. So again, I want to say thank you. This is a great moment for Western New York. Thank you for including us. And I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't say on behalf of all Buffalonians, thank you to Kim and Terry Pegula for their commitment to Western New York, their passion, and their belief in all of us. So I thank the Pegula family. I thank, again, Coley and your team, again, for what you've done. And it's my honor now to introduce a friend to all of us, and someone with a great vision, and someone who's been there alongside all of us as we've grown, whether it be the medical campus or down here at Harbor Center, at First Niagara Center, our friend, Mayor Brown.
Thank you very much, Jody, and good afternoon, everyone. You know, this is great news for Buffalo that the NHL Combine is coming to our city. And it seems, as you've heard, that every week now, Buffalo is experiencing these kinds of great major announcements of positive things happening in this community. It was a little over 2 years ago that my administration put out an RFP with the goal of attracting a world-class facility to once was a surface parking lot that parked 300 vehicles that would attract world-class events, and it's clear that we got that in Harbor Center. I want to congratulate and thank Terry and Kim Pagula and the Sabres organization for their great confidence and faith in the city of Buffalo, for their tremendous investment in the city of Buffalo. In particular, I want to thank Ted Black, the president of the Sabres, John Comel, the president of Harbor Center, and I want to recognize the great work of Jody LeMayo, the president and CEO of Kaleida Health, for joining the NHL Combine team that the Sabres have put together. I also want to thank the NHL and Mr. Campbell for selecting the Sabres organization and selecting the city of Buffalo for the NHL Combine. This will provide an opportunity to show off and showcase the transformation that's taking place in the city of Buffalo. We are so very proud in this community. Since 2012, we've seen over $4.4 billion in development projects that have started. One of the major development projects that we're also proud of is Harbor Center. Harbor Center is a world-class facility in a world-class city, and the NHL Combine is a world-class event coming into our community. As mayor of the city of Buffalo, I am so very proud to be a partner in the NHL Combine coming here, and I want the NHL to know that the city of Buffalo will treat the players that are coming in, the future of the NHL, the families that are coming in, and those that will be watching the players that are coming in, to the legendary hospitality of the city of Buffalo. The city of Buffalo is known as the city of good neighbors, and we will do everything that we can in our community to make sure that the experience of everyone involved in the NHL Combine is a world-class experience as we continue to build the kind of community that people want to live in, that people want to work in, and that people want to visit. So again, to all of you and to all of you that are present today, thank you so much for your faith and confidence in the city of Buffalo, and we look forward to the opportunity to host the NHL Combine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and everybody else up here. At this time, if we have any questions, like I said, Ian and Mark have microphones. If you could just wait for the microphone, that'd be great. You know, Mike, right down here. Ian.
Mike Harrington, Buffalo News. Colin, can you speak to the league's thought on the Combine in terms of developing it from out of a convention center into this setting? Specifically, do you anticipate opening it to the public, and do you anticipate players being on the ice during the Combine?
Dan Marr, our director of scouting, put together a committee, Combine committee, with managers, assistant managers, and head of scouting departments together, and we've been dealing with expanding our Combine. As you know, the 30 National Hockey League teams, cap where it's at, the amount of competition there is to win, even to make the playoffs today. It's so difficult. And scouting is still the most important backbone to a team. And we've been changing our Combine. We've been looking at our Combine. We've asked our scouts about, do you want to see those players skate? I think we're at around 70%, 75%. Most of our scouting departments don't want to see a player skate in this combine. They've seen him skate all winter long. Interviews are important, testing's important, and so at this point in time, we're not going to include the skating element like you see in the NFL Combine where they have the 40-yard dash on the field, etc. As far as opening up to the public, we haven't in the past. One of the problems is our facilities, where we've had it. One of the reasons we're here today. Buffalo beat the big metropolis of Toronto again. The facilities just weren't adequate for us where we were at. And then in conversations, we ended up where we are today after Ted and I had numerous conversations about hosting the Combine. And so we're not sure where we're going to go as far as fan participation in the actual premises where the testing takes place, but there is a possibility of going down that road.
Jim?
This is for either Ted or John. Any idea of the economic impact that this combine will have for either of the 2 years or combined?
I'll take a crack at it. How many? 125 players, average 6 to a dozen NHL representatives. So I think it could be measured probably more in what the prestige is more than an actual economic impact. There's usually a pretty tight schedule. I can speak from the Sabres experience. Pretty tight schedule. Where Tim, for example, is up early in the morning and working late at night, getting as much information as they can. For me, I think it alludes to what the mayor said. It projects such a positive image of Buffalo and a city and a franchise that's moving in the right direction.
And we haven't run any specific numbers. Jim anticipated the question and think that going forward we'll have to try. Know that we don't think about quantifying, we just think about the cumulative benefit to all involved. So leave that to others to do the absolute math, but there's no question it's meaningful and it's iterative when coupled with the ongoing events and activities that we'll be hosting.
Paul?
Colin, I always got the impression attending the event in Toronto that the testing part of it was almost quite a bit more important, the interview process was almost quite a bit more important than the testing process. Is that accurate? Is that the place where they really get to know these prospects through the interviews, and is that what they're really looking at, or is the testing just as important?
Well, if you talk to our 30 general managers, that's one aspect of a combine they're most interested in. They think they can sit with the player for 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, and drill down and find out as much as they need to know about that draft-eligible player. As far as the staff is concerned, their amateur scouting staff, they want to see them in all aspects of testing. They'll bring their strength and fitness guys to the combine. I think that it's so competitive now with the agents, is that they school these kids so thoroughly. These kids have answers already, so I'm not so sure how far the interview process is going today because they have all the right answers, and it's up to GMs to feel their way through those interviews. So again, whoever you ask in the organization, they'll give you a different aspect of what they think is best about the combine.
John?
Hi, Colin. John Worrell with the AP. When the NHL opened this up for bidding, I believe you wanted a 3-year, at least a 3-year commitment. You settled on 2. What's the reasoning behind that, and what are the chances of this continuing on here in Buffalo beyond the 2-year period?
There's a good chance. When I'm from a hockey background, I'm not used to Mayor Brown's political savvy, and Ted and I started discussing Buffalo when they announced at the first Niagara Center to have when they're developing Harbor Center, and I said this would be perfect for, say, a center of excellence for officiating. And then we got into other areas. As John mentioned, we had a combine for 60 interested officials last week here. We're in discussions with Ted about bringing our officials camp here, our officials training camp here next year. And so in discussing the combine here, we took a few steps, and then we've got some interest from some other organizations around the league. And so my boss said, you better open it up to everyone. So we did, and that has extended our process probably 3 months. The announcement actually of coming here, and it got down to 2 organizations who really had great presentations. Well, Buffalo, obviously, and Pittsburgh Penguins. So we scaled it back to 2 years, and the challenge is now with Ted to have 2 good combines, and hopefully, we'll be here for a long time.
Dave, in the back.
Yes, hi. Ted, you talked at great length up here about some of the things that have been recently announced, now today's announcement, how that's building on things. What might be next? What are you interested in next? Could it be the draft?
Well, I know there was a lot of speculation that perhaps today's event was about the draft. That's something that we're obviously interested in. We've submitted a bid for that. The 2016 draft is yet to be awarded. Everything. Fill in the blanks. That's what we're interested in. We want this to be the place where every player that makes it to the NHL has been here. We're hosting the USA Prospects Games. It's coming back to Buffalo next month. I recall 2 years ago I spoke to that group. It's the top 40 players in the United States. Show of hands, how many of you is this the first time you were in Buffalo? I was really surprised, and I guess it drew a line in the sand when maybe a quarter of them raised their hands or even less. And at that point we said we look forward to advancing that 3 years from now and having everyone raise their hand. And that's kind of a very simplistic way of looking at this, is I want everyone to have come through Buffalo, and the Pagulas and John Commel and everyone sitting up here, except maybe Coley, doesn't have a dog in the fight. But we want everyone to come through Buffalo, and that's what we're building here, on and off the ice.
I'll add my 2 cents to that if I can. Phrase I've used over the years, I'm a plan the work the plan guy, so I don't want you to think we're chasing everything and anything. It's very methodical, as Ted just alluded. We've targeted certain events have targeted us, and we're working hard to ensure there's a good marriage. For instance, some have asked in the past, we're picking up the women's U18. We opted not to bid on the men's U18 event. It was one that we just didn't think was the right fit for us and our location, time of year, for a couple different reasons. So we're being very selective, whether it's looking at the overall level of activity at a given point in time, what's the right fit at the right time to ensure we achieve the objective that Ted just outlined.
Anybody else? Mike?
John, just an update on the construction. The time
Going up.
Yeah, the time frame has always been on the hotel, my understanding, June. Do you anticipate the hotel being operational for this combine or no?
Short answer to that's no, Mike. I'll never bet against these guys. They continue to do phenomenal work. But this bid was submitted not conditioned on the fact that the hotel's up and running in 15. So hence my specific reference to our good friends and partners at the Courtyard, as well as other hotels in the area. We'll always need them. But right now the timeline remains consistent. As you said, June for the sake of a month. If this crew can continue to deliver, you never say never, but we're not counting on that for 15.
Anybody else? If not, we'll wrap up. And again, thank you everyone for coming down here today, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.